Hello everyone, my name is Izzuddin Osman, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about all the basic settings, including AutoCAD Workspace settings, to change our buttons interface, and also how to control the customization list button to list down all the activation status buttons. So we are also going to learn about the AutoCAD important buttons and the shortcut commands, including line command, circle, arc command, rectangle, and many other more. Okay, so in other words, in this tutorial, we are going to learn all the basic settings that we need to set initially before we start to draw any technical drawing or any floor plan building drawings or even 3D designs. Okay, so let's jump over to the interface button over here. So whenever you open this AutoCAD software, what you are going to see right now is this interface. So whenever you want to create a new file, you can click this big button over here to start a new drawing. So when you click this big button over here, AutoCAD will open a fresh new file for you. Okay, after you double click this AutoCAD shortcut over here to launch the AutoCAD software, you are going to see this interface over here. So whenever you want to create a new drawing, you can just click this big button over here, okay, to create a new file. But if you don't have this button, this big button over here to start a new drawing, you can always go to this main file button on top of this interface. So by clicking this main file button over here, go to new, and you can just double click on this template over here, AutoCAD template. So when you double click on this file, AutoCAD file, AutoCAD template, so AutoCAD will actually open a fresh new file for you. But I'm just going to click this big button over here to start a fresh new file to start my drawing. So as said earlier, in this tutorial, you are going to learn all the basic workspace settings needed for us to set initially before we want to proceed in drawing any particular technical floor plan or any 3D design. So the first thing that we have to know is about the AutoCAD Workspace button icon. So the button icon actually looks like a gear icon. So it lets us to change the buttons interface into AutoCAD 2D drafting and annotation workspace, or even we can also change the buttons interface into the AutoCAD 3D modeling. So the AutoCAD Workspace button icon is located directly down here. Okay, you can see my mouse is pointing, okay, to this particular button location over here. So this button is called the Workspace button. Okay, so when you click on this button, you are able to choose drafting and annotation workspace or the 3D modeling workspace. So if you're doing a simple AutoCAD 2D floor plan design, you can just choose this drafting and annotation workspace. So the moment you click and choose this particular workspace setting, AutoCAD will list down or will line up all the buttons for the 2D plan drawings. But if you were to click in this button again and choose 3D modeling, and AutoCAD will change the buttons lineup over here into all the 3D buttons only. So this 3D modeling workspace settings, right, is focusing more onto the 3D buttons, including box. You can see like there are commands like box, cylinder, cone, extrude, and many other more. But in this tutorial, we are just going to focus more to the AutoCAD 2D buttons, because we are going to create some 2D plans, simple 2D plans, just to explore the functionalities of AutoCAD commands and buttons. So we are going to change back to drafting and annotation workspace. So whenever we change it here like this, okay, so we are going to look, there is a line command, polyline, circle, arc, rectangle, move command, rotate, just like the normal commands that you can always see when you open AutoCAD, right? So first things first, we got to know the AutoCAD Workspace button icon, which looks like a gear. It lets us to change interface, whether we want to choose the AutoCAD 2D drafting and annotation interface, or we can change it into the 3D modeling interface. So we've done this part already. So let's take a look on the second button, which is the AutoCAD customization list button. So it looks like a 3-line button icon, okay, which you can find it over here, down here. So my mouse is pointing directly to the customization list button. So this button actually functions as, when you click on it, right, okay, it'll just list down all the activation status button needed for you to list down over on this activation status bar. Let's say if I were to click on this grid function to untick it, you can see when I untick this particular function, so that grid button will disappear. Okay, if I were to click on this button to untick that function, so that model space button will disappear on this activation status bar list over here. So this particular customization list button over here controls the buttons down here. Okay, so if you want to list down all these functions buttons over down here on the activation status button bar over here, so you can just click here and make sure it is ticked. So if you were to untick it, like dynamic input untick, auto mode untick, you can see the buttons will be disappeared over here, down here. So I will tick or activate model space over here, grid, snap, dynamic input, and many other options over here, including polar track, isometric drafting, object snap tracking, 2D object snap, line weight, dynamic UCS, annotation visibility, auto scale, annotation scale, workspace switching, annotation monitor. So make sure you tick all of these functions over on this list, just to make sure that all this function is listed down here over on this activation status bar over here. Okay, so this particular icon, which calls the customization list button, actually control whichever functions that you want to include to the activation status bar down here. Okay, so just make sure all of this function over here is ticked, and you can just tick it to choose so that it is going to be listed down here. So I'm just going to click that button again, okay, just to minimize the customization list button. And let's let's take a look over on the third function over here, the activation status bar buttons. Okay, so there are actually 3 functions or 3 status bar buttons which you must activate, including the polar track, which actually functions as your ruler. So this particular function of polar track over on your activation status buttons bar is to ensure that you will draw a straight line. So this polar track function over here ensures that we project a straight line. Okay, so make sure this polar track ruler is on, and make sure also the object snap target signal also is on, including the object snap track function also is on. So the object snap and the object snap track function of this activation status bar buttons over here actually helps us to target on a particular location, on a particular object. Okay, so we can actually activate it by just click on this button down here. So when you click this button down here, you can see when I were to click on this polar track button over here, if I were to click this button will turn to gray color. So gray color means you are switching that button off actually. So if you click that button again, it'll turn and change the color to blue color, right? So when the button changes to blue color means that the button is actually switched on. So just make sure that your polar track is on, your object snap button is on, active, and your object snap track button also is active. So make sure it is polar track, object snap track, and object snap button is activated and switched on. Okay, so for the beginners level, right, so we are not using the grid function over here, so we just want to click on this function over here just to make it disappear. Okay, just to make it disappear. Okay, so switch off your grid, switch off your snap. We are not using that in this early stage. Okay, and dynamic input also make sure you can off it for a while, and including line weight, dynamic UCS, you can switch off for a while. Okay, just to add something over here for your information, this dynamic input function, right, if you switch it on, okay, this dynamic input function enables the user to type a command on your mouse pointer. Like I'm typing it right now. I'm typing LINE, and you can see the command is going directly on my mouse pointer. So as a beginner, so we are not going to associate with this function yet, but if you want to actually enable the dynamic input function over here, you can. So you can see if I switch it on, I can actually enable the command panel, okay, over to my mouse pointer over here. Okay, so but in this beginning stage, we are just going to switch it off first. Okay, so in this beginning stage, right, so we just want to learn some basic things first, so we are just going to focus on that first. So the activation status button bar, which is compulsory on, which must be on at all times, includes the polar track, which is our ruler, the object snap function button, which is our target signal, and the third one is the object snap track button, okay, which is used to target to a particular location on any particular object that we draw. So these three functions, right, we are going to switch on, and we are going to make sure it is activated at all times, okay, at all times. And let's say, right, you want to go to the object snap settings, you can just right click on the object snap button and choose settings, and you can see the list of the object snaps list, okay, function over here. So I just demonstrate to you for a while. I'm just going to take my mouse and put it directly on the object snap button over here and right click on that particular button, right click and choose object snap settings. So the moment I choose object snap settings, this dialog manager will appear, okay, and listing all types of object snaps, which includes your endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, and extension. So most of the drawings needs us to actually enable or activate endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, and extension. So we can actually snap or target to any particular endpoint or midpoint or center or intersection or an extension over on our object that we are actually drawing. Okay, so make sure this all is activated and click OK. And alternatively, you can also go to the object snaps button settings by just type SE and press enter. Type SE and press enter. You can actually see, okay, the dialog manager of the object snap settings appear again. So I'm just going to use the shortcut command this time. Okay, so I'm just going to type in the command panel down here. I'm going to type SE enter. Okay, so that will just bring up this dialog manager again, which I can see the list of the object snaps, which include the endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, and extension. Okay, just make sure all of these object snaps are activated and switched on, and then you can just click OK. So whenever you want to draw any drawing, including any 2D floor plan drawings or any mechanical drawings or electrical drawings or land surveyor drawings, we need to set our units first. Okay, and after that, we're going to set our drawing range or drawing area within the limits command. So first things first, before we want to draw any technical drawing, we need to specify our units first. Okay, so how to do that? Actually, you can just type units in the command window panel down here. Just click inside the command window panel down here, click it, type units, type UNITS, and then you press enter, and this dialog manager will appear. So most of the drawings are in millimeters, so we are just going to change this inches into millimeters right now. Just make sure if you are using millimeters, okay, type length must be in decimal. Okay, so decimal is the type length for millimeter and also meter. Okay, let's say if you're using meter as your units, if you're drawing some object which is really big and it can actually achieve up to kilometers, so you are going to specify your units in meters. So whenever you are choosing meters or millimeters, just make sure your length of type over here is set to decimal. Okay, but if you are associating with units which involves feet and inches, you can also change it back to inches, and just make sure your type length should be in either architectural, giving you precision in feet and inches, and also you can also choose engineering, which also gives you precision in feet and inches as well. So if you're using inches as your units, just make sure your type length is in engineering or architectural, giving you precision of feet and inches. But in this tutorial, we are just going to focus more to the millimeters units right now. So I'm just going to choose millimeters again, and I'm just going to change back to the original type length, which is in decimal. So I'm going to click OK just to confirm that. I'm going to click OK. So whenever you want to start your drawing, the first thing that you have to do, you have to set your units actually. Start by typing units, press enter, choose mm. Okay, so just in case whatever you did went wrong, you can always press escape on your keyboard to cancel off that command, or to refresh off the command panel. You can just press escape just to refresh everything, and you can key in back this command. Okay, I'm just clarifying this for you. If anything goes not as planned, right, you can just type back the command, type UNITS, enter. Okay, if you did a mistake, if you are not sure, you can just press escape. So I'm pressing escape right now. Pressing escape, you can cancel off that. So you see when I press escape, right, the command panel is showing cancel, 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 like that. So pressing escape is something like you are canceling the command which you are currently typing on actually. Okay, after that, after setting your units right, you can set the drawing range or your drawing area. Okay, you must set your drawing range or your drawing area. That also means that you are trying to set how big or how large is your drawing in actual size. Okay, so in AutoCAD, if you want to set your drawing range or your drawing area in actual size, you must set it by using the limits command. By typing limits and press enter, and the command down in the command window panel, it'll ask you about the minimum point. So usually we are going to input 0, as our minimum point, and maximum point actually depends on the size of the object that you want to draw. Okay, so in this tutorial, right, in this example, I'm just going to use 20, 20 to set as my minimum point. Now after setting my minimum point, don't forget to type Z, enter, and press enter to zoom all, to zoom everything directly to your limits. Okay, so how to actually initiate this, how to actually launch this command, you can just type in this command window panel over here, click, and just type LIMITS and press enter. The moment you press enter, the command window down there is going to ask you to specify the lower left corner, which also means to specify your minimum point. So usually is 0, 0. So you have to input 0, 0 in a sense that you have to input this value in terms of a coordinate. Okay, so I'm just going to type 0, 0 over here to set my minimum point. Type 0, 0 and press enter. And the command down there will ask you about how to specify what is actually our upper right corner. It'll ask you to specify, to input the upper right corner maximum point. So in this case, we are going to type 20, 20 is our maximum point. Okay, press enter, and don't forget to type Z, enter for zoom. Okay, the moment you type Z, enter for zoom, okay, the zoom command, right, will give you some other options, which includes all, center, dynamic, extend, and many other more. So but I'm going to type A enter, because I want to call the option all over here. So that's why I type A enter, okay, down in the command panel over here. So I press A enter, so it'll just zoom all, zoom through my limits. Okay, so whenever you want to zoom, you just type Z, enter for zoom, and zoom's gonna give you some other options. Okay, so we just type A, enter, because we want to call the options all in the sub command, okay, of the zoom. So I'm just going to type A, enter to zoom everything to zoom all. Okay, so this is just an introduction, right? So as a beginner or as an AutoCAD new user, so we must understand that if we want to cancel off anything, pressing the escape key is the most popular way in AutoCAD, right? If you press escape on your keyboard, right, you can actually cancel off the command, or you can actually cancel off an object that you want to draw. Okay, and regarding the AutoCAD mouse click functions also, it's just a single left click. So whenever you want to draw, just make sure you use the single left click. So there is no need to click and drag in this software. So most of the times you're gonna just single left click a point and just move your mouse and single left click another point. So most of the times when you want to draw in this AutoCAD software, the AutoCAD mouse click function only involves the single left click, and there is no need to click and drag. Okay, there is no need to click and drag. So like the other software, okay, it's the same with the other software. If you want to zoom in, it's just a mouse scroll up on your mouse. If you want to zoom out, you can just mouse scroll down, all right, to zoom out, mouse scroll up to zoom in, mouse scroll down to zoom out. And if you want to pan your view, in a sense that if you want to actually move your view around, you can also press and hold your mouse scroll while moving your mouse. You can actually pan the view of your drawing. Okay, something like moving the view of your drawing without moving the object itself. Okay, so if you want to pan your drawing, you can just press and hold your mouse scroll and move your mouse at the same time. You are able to pan the view of your drawing. And we are going to take a look and explore a little bit about the AutoCAD important buttons and shortcut commands in this tutorial, just a little bit, okay, because we are going to actually see the functionalities of all the important commands, all the big commands in this software. Okay, so I'm just going to explain a little bit, okay, about how to draw a line. Okay, first things first, we need to draw a line. How to draw it? Okay, you can just click this button under the Home tab. Okay, there is a button command over here called line. So whenever you click on that button, right, you just click on this button line, and you got to really pay attention on the command window panel down there. So when you click this button line, right, the command window panel down there will ask you to click for a first point. So you can just single left click. There is no need to drag. So just single left click over here. So, and the command down there is asking for you to click another point. So you can just click on another point. Okay, notice that when you move your mouse, right, there is a function called the polar track, okay, that ensures the projection of our line is straight. Okay, so that is why we switch on this polar track function down over on the activation status bar just now. So if you switch off the polar track function, okay, you can see the polar track function is not visible. Okay, so without that function, you are not able to draw a straight line. So just make sure polar track is activated while drawing a line. Okay, so you can just click over here, click over here, click over here. So when you click to end this particular shape, right, there is something like signals coming out like that. That looks kind of yellowish. All right, the signal looks like kind of a yellowish signal like this. This is what we call as the object snap signal. Okay, for without this particular function over here, if I were to disable this function, so you can see there is no object snap signals coming out. Okay, I can't really snap or target to the end of the line or to the midpoint of the line. Okay, so I must depend on this particular function. So that is why I have to make sure my object snap and my object snap track is activated at all times. So whenever I want to snap or target to the endpoint like this, it will just show in terms of the yellowish signal. It looks kind of yellowish greenish like that. So so when the object snap signal is appearing like that, so I'm feeling very confident to click on that point. So the computer actually helps us to snap to that particular point. I can click on it, okay, to actually complete this triangle shape. Okay, if I want to actually terminate this particular line command, I can just press escape to cancel off this line, this balance line over here. Press escape. Okay. Okay, remember, I just remind you again, AutoCAD mouse click function does not involve any click and drag Okay, it is just a single left click, okay, on your mouse. So whenever you want to select, you can just touch on the line by clicking on the line. So once the line is selected, you can just press delete on your keyboard to delete the line. Okay, and if you want to select it like this, select it like this, okay, and press delete on the keyboard to erase the line. Okay, so if you want to undo it, you can just click undo over on the top of this particular panel over here. There's an undo command on the top. Click undo to undo the command. Okay, to undo the delete command or to restore back the line. So if you want to select, okay, all of this shape using the window selection, you can just click your starting point over here. Click to start your selection. Remember, AutoCAD software does not involve any click and drag. It's just a single left click. Okay, same goes if you want to select using a window selection. You can just single left click over here, single click, move your mouse to cover the area, and another single click over on the top to capture all of this object in this window selection. And once all of this object is selected, you can just press delete to erase the object. So that is actually an overview of the line command, right? I can just click line, I can click, and I can also polar track this way. Okay, during when I polar track, right, I can also enter the measurement for the line. Okay, let's say I want to enter 10. So I just type 10 in the command window panel down there and press enter, and the line will be projected that much of a length. Okay, so if I want to go down as much as 8, so I just type 8 and press enter, and the line will be in that length, 8 mm. Okay, so I can also end this particular object by going to this mid over here. Okay, so I can also click on here like this. Okay, click. All right, I can click over here, click, and then I can click over here, also click. Okay, so you can see my object snaps is actually helping me while I'm drawing. Okay, press escape. Okay, so let's say we want to draw a shape. Okay, like I want to draw right now a shape of a door with a specific measurement, of course. Okay, let's say I want to draw a rectangle, okay, that looks like a door, so which has the width of 8.67, okay, and the height of 16.87. So I just click line, I can click somewhere over here, click polar track. So I will enter the measurement right now. So I'll type 8.67 and then I press enter. After that, polar track downwards. Okay, remember during the polar track, right, do not click your mouse. All right, do not click your mouse, just polar track, just direct the line. Okay, and during the polar track, you can just enter the measurement like this, 16.87, press enter. Okay, and I'm just panning my drawing a little bit to the right, put my mouse over here. Okay, and I can see the object snap appears over there, but I'm not clicking on that point yet. Okay, do not click on it yet, just move your mouse downwards like this. Okay, this is what we call as object snap track. Okay, so I'm able to draw the length of this line, right, using my object snap track feature of AutoCAD. So how to do this particular object snap tracking projection? So just put your mouse over here, okay, but don't click, and move your mouse down like this until you can see two projections of the tracking appearing like this. When you can see the two projections appearing like this, then only we click. Alright, so now I'm going to click. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to click this endpoint also. Okay, and then I press escape. Alright, I press escape to terminate the line. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to offset this particular line, okay, in order for me to create the frame. And the offset distance for this particular door is around 0.45. So I'm just going to click this button, offset, which actually functions to create double line or frames. So I'm just going to click offset. The moment you click this button offset, the command window panel down there is going to ask you to input the offset distance. So you are going to type 0.45, enter. Okay, press enter and select this object and click any point inside over here. Click this object, click any point inside over here to offset it. Click this object and click any point inside here to offset it there. Click this subject and click any point inside here to offset it there. Press escape. Alright, so you don't worry if anything goes wrong. You can always click undo over on the top over here. You can just press U enter. Type U enter to undo it. Type U enter to undo it. Or you can just click this button again to redo. Alright, to redo. So whenever you want to trim, alright, you can just click this button, trim, click this trim button, press enter. Okay, and you can trim out this part, this part, this part, and this part, this unwanted part. Okay, I'm going to trim out this part, this part, this part, and this part. Okay, press escape and then press escape. So if you want to undo that, you can just type U enter to undo it. Okay, how to trim? You can just click this trim button again, press enter. Alright, and you can just trim the unwanted part like how I'm doing it right now. Okay. Okay, so this is more or less the shape of a door. Press escape. Okay, I'm just going to draw a reference line over here as much as 0.67. Okay, this is actually the reference line to indicate the distance of the door handle with the internal frame. So I'm just going to draw a line. So I'll take my mouse, right, put it on the midpoint of the internal frame, and you can see when my mouse is very close to the line itself, the midpoint object snap will appear, which looks like a triangle, a yellow greenish triangle over there, which is my object snap. So I'm going to click on that object snap, midpoint click, and then I'm going to polar track to the left, and then I'm going to type 0.67, and then I press enter. Okay, I press enter. So I'm just going to create a door handle, alright, using the rectangle command. Okay, rectangle command. So I'm going to click rectangle by estimation. I'm just going to draw the door handle like this, click and click. I'm going to draw the reference line across the rectangle diagonally, press escape. And I'm going to move this particular door handle right now from the base point over here to the displacement point over there by using the move command. Alright, the move command. So whenever you want to move, you got to hit on this particular button. You got to click this button, click move button, and the move command will ask you to select. You're going to select it, but remember, it's just a single click. If you want to select like this, it's just a single click over there, single click over there. There is no need to drag. After you have selected the object, press enter. And when the command is asking to click for the base point, you just take your mouse, right, put it on the center of the object, click, and put it on the displacement or the destination point over there. Okay, so I'm just like drawing the shape of a door actually, okay, with a specified measurement and everything, and I'm going to output or to generate its dimension by going to the annotate tab. Go to the annotate tab. Alright, click this button over here, choose dimension linear. Okay, click one endpoint, click to the other endpoint, and bring up this dimension over here. So I'm able to output or to generate the dimension, okay, of this particular object which I've drawn just now. Click dimension linear, click one endpoint, click to the other endpoint, put it over here. Okay, so whenever I want to make the dimension text bigger, right, I can just select on this dimension, okay, and then take my mouse, put it outside, right click, and choose properties. I choose properties, right, and the properties box will come up like this. It's quite a long list which you can actually click and drag over here to scroll up, scroll down to see what's going on to the other categories over here. So I'm just click and drag to navigate this list. Okay, and the arrow size, I'm going to the arrow size section over here. I type 0.5 just to make the arrow size bigger. Press enter. Scroll down a little bit until I can see the text height section over here. Type 0.5 and press enter. Okay, and then scroll a little bit down again until I can see the primary unit section, and then I go to the position over here, open up this and choose 0.00 so that it has the two positions over there. Okay, and then I close this properties box over here, select this dimension, right click, go to properties, and go to this particular arrow section over here, click and type 0.5, press enter just to make the arrow a little bit bigger. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit so that I can see the text height section. Go to text height, change it to 0.5, scroll down some more, go to precision under primary units, go to precision, type not type, click and choose 0.00 over here. So I'm just going to show to you a little bit if you want to measure, okay, an object which is slanted like this. Okay, if you want to measure this object, if you want to generate dimensions for a slanted object like this, you may use this particular function called dimension align. Okay, dimension align. Just click one endpoint, just click to the other endpoint, and you are able to generate its dimension. Okay, and if you want to actually generate the angle, all right, angle dimension between these two lines, you can just open up this button over here, choose dimension angular, click this line and click the other line, okay, and just pull out this dimension over here. Okay, same goes the technique. If you want to make this dimension text bigger, you can just select this dimension, right click outside, go to properties, and you can just make this arrow size a little bit bigger by typing 0.5. Scroll down a little bit. This text height, I'm going to change it to 0.5 just to make it slightly bigger so that it looks more obvious. Press enter, don't forget to press enter, so it looks bigger. See, it looks bigger. Okay, so you can also do this for this dimension over here. So I'm just going to change it quickly, 0.5. Quickly go down, go to text height, type 0.5, press enter, go down. And I'll go to under position. I'm going to change it to 0.00 so that the length will only have 2 positions over there. Okay, so that's how you generate dimensions using AutoCAD. Just click annotate. So if you want to draw again, you can just click home, go to the home tab. If you want to generate dimensions, you can click annotate. And if you want to generate dimensions with a text label, an arrow with a text label is usually called dimension multi-leader. You can always click this multi-leader over here. Click on this, any object which you want to label, click. Okay, and let's say I want to label it as shape of a door. Sorry, I'm going to label it as door handle. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the text, right, by clicking and dragging. Okay, like this. I'm highlighting the text over here. I'm going to click and drag to highlight this text over here. Take my mouse, go over on the top panel over here onto this text height section over here. Okay, so I'm just going to click over here, type 0.5, enter just to make the text a little bit bigger. Press enter and take my mouse right and go to the far right end on the top panel over here to close this text command over here. Close it. Select this arrow, right click, go to properties, and you can change the arrowhead size to 0.5 and press enter. Alright, press enter. So you got a little bit this dimension multi-leader style over here. And so whenever you want to generate text, you can always use this annotate tab and click on this first button. It's called the multi-line text. So I can click this multi-line text, I can click over here and click over here just to create my text area, and then I type shape of a door. Let's say I type shape of a door. Anything, you can type anything actually. You just want to learn how to create text label. Whenever you have typed all the text, you can click and drag to highlight this text. Take your mouse right, put it over here onto this section, on this text height section over here, type 1, okay, and press enter. So that will just make the text bigger. And take your mouse, put it on the far right hand corner over here on the top, click close. You can always select this text again and click on the blue dot, and you can move it to the bottom position of this shape over here. Okay, so in this tutorial, let's us to explore a little bit of the commands, basic commands in AutoCAD. Okay, as you all know, the command is usually located under your home tab over here. Okay, under your home tab over here. So there are quite a few commands which you need to try out, like line command, circle command, arc, rectangle. So this is actually the shortcut commands, which you can also type in the shortcuts, okay, compared to clicking the button. Okay, you can either click on the button lined and draw the line, okay, press escape, or you can depend on the shortcut command, which is if I want to launch the line command, I can just type L, enter, and I'm able to draw it. Okay, press escape. So if I want to click circle, I can also click on the button itself, click and click, or I can type in the command, which is C, enter. Okay, click and click. Alright, so there are quite a few commands which you can try, including rectangle, polygon, text. So these are the shortcuts. Okay, so these are the shortcuts, important shortcuts, which we need to know. Okay, which we need to know. And let's say we forgot all these shortcut commands, right? How to actually see the commands list again? We can actually capture all these commands list in the Express tool of your AutoCAD software. So if whenever you want to just clarify or double confirm the shortcut commands, you can just click on this Express tool tab over here, all right, and click on this particular button called Command Aliases. Click on this button, and this particular Command Alias dialog manager will actually list down all of the AutoCAD commands, including its shortcut commands. Like if I were to scroll down some more, I can really see, like if I want to draw a line, right? So the command is actually L, so it's indicated there, L. Okay, so if I want to draw a circle, all right, if I want to draw a circle, okay, I can just type C, enter. All right, I can just type C, enter. Okay, let me just find the command first. Okay, this is the command C, circle. If I want to copy, it is actually CO. CO is for copy. All right, so I'm just going to try out a little bit. Okay, in few minutes time, I'm going to try out this command. Like if I want to draw a line, I can just click line, draw the command like this, click, put my mouse over here, don't click, just object snap track down like this, click and click, press escape. So this is the command of a circle. So whenever you click circle, right, the command down there is asking you for you to click for a center point. You can click any point, but when the command down there is asking for you to input the radius, so you can just put like maybe 3. Okay, so 3 is the radius of this circle. So you got to really read at the command window panel there what is the computer is asking us to input. Okay, this is the rectangle command. Okay, so I can also draw the rectangle by typing the shortcut like REC, enter. I'm able to draw the command like this. Okay, this is the arc command. Click arc, click 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm just going to select this first and delete this first. All right, okay, let's say I'll just draw like something like an L shape. All right, L shape. So just click line, just draw an L shape like this. Okay, so whenever I want to move this L shape, I'm going to click this move button, and move will ask me to select, so I'm going to select it, press enter, click for its base point, move it to a specific location. But alternatively, of course, you can type in the command for a faster approach. So you can just type M, enter. Okay, for move command, select the object, enter, and just click and click to move it. So M, enter is faster, and it is of course much more efficient. So if you want to copy it, you can also use this command copy. Alright, or you can type CO, enter. You can also use the shortcut CO, enter. Whenever the command is asking for you to select, you can just select it first, press enter, and just click over here to copy multiple times. Okay, press escape. So this is the button, what we call as button mirror and rotate. Rotate is actually, if you want to rotate a particular object, you can practically use this button. Click on rotate, select the object, enter, click for a point for its base point. Move your mouse further away from the object and just use your mouse to rotate the object like this. Okay, so this is the rotate command. Okay, so I'm going to rotate it back to its original position. Okay, like this. So let's say if I want to mirror all of this down here, mirror is something like you are going to reflect the object. So you just click mirror, just select the object which you want to reflect or mirror, press enter, and the command will ask you to draw a mirror line like this. Let's say I draw a horizontal line, press enter. So this is the mirror command. Okay, okay, let's take a look on the fillet and chamfer command. All right, fillet and chamfer command. Okay, let's say I draw a line which is 5 in length. Okay, you can use the fillet command, right, to actually round up its corner edge with a specific radius. By using fillet command, you can open up this, choose fillet, or press escape. You can also depend on its shortcut, which is F enter. You can press F enter, and the command is asking you to choose a particular option. I'm going to choose radius. I'm going to type R enter. Okay, and then when the command is asking for you to input the fillet radius, you can just type, maybe I'll type 1.5 as my radius, and I'm going to click this line and the other line. So it's just going to round up its corner edge with a specific radius. So that is actually fillet command. Okay, fillet command is able to round up the corner edge of your object, okay, with a specific distance. Okay, that is fillet. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you a little bit about chamfer. All right, chamfer. Okay, chamfer is actually is something like cutting your corner edge with a slanting position. Okay, like this is my corner edge, right? If I want to chamfer off this, it's something like I'm going to cut this corner with a slanting, like in a slanting position or orientation. Okay, something like that, but the technical term is actually bevel. You're going to bevel the corner edge with a specific distance. So I'm going to open up this button, choose chamfer. You know, chamfer, when you click, it's going to give you some options down there, but we are going to choose distance. We're going to type D enter, all right, to call the distance option. And when the command is asking for us to input the first chamfer distance, we're going to type as 1, enter. Okay, and for the second chamfer distance, let's say we take 2 enter, and we're going to click these two lines over here, this and this. Okay, so for your information, the first chamfer distance is actually the horizontal distance from here to here. Okay, that is the first chamfer distance. Okay, the second chamfer distance is the vertical distance of from here to here. Okay, okay, so more or less you already know what's going on with fillet and chamfer, and we're going to take a look with this command just in a few minutes. This array command, we're going to take a look at this array command, this polar array command. But before that, I'm just going to draw a polygon. Okay, I'm just going to try this polygon command. It's one of the important commands or buttons in AutoCAD. So you can type POL, or you can click the button polygon. It's the same thing. You can open up this rectangle button, choose polygon to launch this polygon command. Okay, or I press escape first. I can also type POL, enter, to launch the polygon command. And when the command down there is asking for us to input the number of sides, how many sides of the polygon that we want, let's say we want to generate a hexagon. All right, so we're going to type 6, enter, because I want to build a hexagon, let's say. Okay, and the command down there is asking for you to click the center point. So I'm going to click any point down here, okay, as my center point, click. And the command down there is asking to enter an option whether the polygon is inscribed or circumscribed. Okay, inscribed means inside, circumscribed means outside. So I'm going to choose I, because I want my polygon to be inside orientation or inscribed. So I'm just going to draw something like this by estimation. So that's how you draw a hexagon actually. Okay, let's say this is a hexagon table, and I'm going to draw like the chair which is going to surround this hexagon table like this. Okay, I'm going to click trim. Okay, click trim, or you can use the shortcut command which is TR. Okay, so I'm going to type TR to trim, TR, enter twice. 1, 2. Trim out this part. Press escape. So this balance line over here, I'm going to select and press delete. Okay, okay, I'm going to mirror off this. Okay, you can also depend on this particular button over here, mirror. Okay, or you can also use the shortcut command, which is mi. Okay, I'm going to type mi. I'm going to type mi right now. Type mi, enter. I'm going to select this part only. I'm going to select this part only. Press enter. Alright, press enter. And the first point of mirror line, mirror line, I'm going to click here. Alright, and just draw like a horizontal line like this. Click to create the chair. Press escape. Okay, press escape. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to click this mirror. I'm going to type mi, enter. Okay, I'm going to select this. I'm going to press enter, and the command down there, right, is asking me to draw a horizontal line, mirror line. So I'm going to click here, and click. And lastly, you got to press enter on your keyboard. Press enter to finalize the mirror command. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle for my armchair over here. It's something like that. So this should be my chair. And I'm going to array all of these chairs surrounding the hexagon actually. Okay, so using the polar array command. So I'm going to use polar array. Okay, polar array is going to ask me to select. I'm going to select this chair. Press enter. Okay, when the polar array is asking for me to define my center point, so I'm going to use my object snap track to capture the center point of this polygon. So I'm going to take my mouse over here. Alright, just track over here, put it over here, track until here, until I reach to the center point. Click. Alright, so and of course polar array is going to give you some other options, but you are going to type I, enter. Alright, you're going to type I, enter. Alright, and when the command is asking to enter the number of items, I will type 6, enter. Alright, because it is a 6-seater hexagon table. Press enter and press enter again to finalize the polar array. So more or less, we have gone through all of the big commands in AutoCAD, and we have actually explored the initial settings of this particular software. So you already used the Workspace button and the customization list and the activation status button. So these are all the things that we need to know before we jump to the project, before we want to start to draw any project drawings. These are the things that we should be familiar with. Okay, and this also is something like the shortcut commands to generate dimensions, which you can also apply it, okay, to have a faster approach in generating AutoCAD plans. Like, I'll just give you an example. If I want to draw, if I want to generate a dimension linear, so I can just type DLI, enter. So I'm just depending on my shortcut. DLI, enter. So I'm just going to click somewhere here and somewhere here and just pull out this dimension over here. So you can see how easy it is if you use shortcut commands. Alright, okay. So my name is Izzuddin Osman, and and we hope that this particular tutorial benefit all of you who are watching right now, and wish you all the best and good luck, and see you again in our next tutorial. Thank you very much.